then, shall we go?
Yes. So here we go. Episode 200. It's episode 200.
Oh. We had lots of things planned for this, didn't we, Kev? We had like 60 comments on the last video.
We did.
With lots of things to talk about.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the first episode. Well, no, not first episode. Episode 1. It's not the first episode. Episode 0 was last week. Of a 10-episode epic of episode 200. It's all very prog because it means no individual piece has to be very special.
Yeah.
You see, you just do
Just
more.
put a load of shit together.
Yeah, that's prog. So there we go. So this is our traditional clip show kind of thing, which won't be as good as the previous ones.
I like that, our traditional clip show.
So yeah, we had a vote, and the votes are in. The votes are in for the best.
Brexit won.
Yeah, Brexit. Sorry, only just though. It was 50-50. Everyone hates each other. Never mind. This is politics. Okay, politics comes into the Wenton King now.
We've got to exercise our politics.
Yeah.
They're sort of the things that we've talked about, which do hold them back a little bit, are really suppressed here.
Yeah, they do it one bit, and then they don't do it. They do something else. What a good idea!
The fact that there is sort of like a collection, which gives it a bigger range of things going on. There is a slight problem with that in that the tracks you mentioned, like The Answer Lies Within and I Walk Beside You, I find them pretty boring.
They're very commercial. I mean, I Walk Beside You, they've said themselves, it's because, we like U2 and Coldplay and things like that.
Yeah, so it's not going to appeal to everyone all of the time, but the title track, it's just awesome. In fact, in my opinion, you could listen to the title track and that's enough for the album. I mean, actually, that's its criticism. Like Presence, and unless you really let yourself into it, Octavarium can completely overwhelm the rest of the album. And when I first heard it, it did, and then I was like, the rest of the album, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Counter question. Which album/artist were you most surprised by, positively in brackets, or you got into most because of listening to them for the reviews in Sam's case? So, yeah, let's go through. I mean, even when we did the Led Zeppelin run, I had Led 4.
Oh, really? I thought you did more of it than that. Are you sure?
That was about it, really. No, I had Led 1 and 2 on vinyl. Physical Graffiti was a real cool one for me.
Yeah.
I really like that. It was sort of, looking back at it, it's sort of, there's lots of, it's too big, but there is a lot of awesomeness on there, which you can get away with as a pretty straight, rock band.
Yes.
/ heavy rock band sort of thing. Because it's easy to pick the bits that you like.
Yeah.
Which is a bit harder with sort of like progressive stuff. The big one has got to be Genesis, actually.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Genesis I associated with Phil Collins' 80s era.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Probably thought it was a bit like that, but like Yes.
Yeah. And someone said, "Oh, you either like Genesis or Yes." That wasn't a good way to sell it. Peter Gabriel era Genesis is just sort of like one of the most sublime things in music. It brings together a lot of stuff that I inherently like. Rubs me up a bit along the way that they're all chart house boys and all incredibly posh.
Yeah. There's a class thing.
But I can see past that.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how as soon as Peter Gabriel left, I didn't like it anymore. And then when
mojo had gone.
Yeah, the mojo had gone for me, which is strange because we did a Peter Gabriel run and I wasn't into it.
And the Trick of the Tail, yeah.
It didn't really work for me, which is strange. But there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Jethro Tull.
You were very hot and cold on Jethro Tull, weren't you? Some of it you really liked and some of it you didn't.
Well, I still listen to Minstrel in the Gallery.
Goodness me.
It's weird. It's one of those. There's Supper's Ready by Genesis.
Yeah.
And Minstrel in the Gallery. I always go back to sort of like when I'm thinking of it. I just need to, clear my my music out of my head. Have a reset. That's what I go to.
Goodness me.
Sort of thing.
So is it the album? Is it sometimes just Baker Street Muse, Or is it actually
It's
the
the
song?
whole album.
Goodness me.
I just bloody love it.
Cold Winter Valhalla.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Valhalla sort of thing. Bloody hell, I just got a message on my phone saying the football team's losing. What's that all about? John Paul Jones.
Your stuff is cool, isn't it?
That was amazing. You know, we did we do 3 albums?
2.
Two albums. He's only done 2, hasn't he?
He has done another one in the 80s, but it's very different.
That was really surprising. I mean, that was like, suddenly it changed my whole view of John Paul Jones. Like, he was this repressed prog genius.
Yeah.
in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's kind of what... He wasn't given enough space.
No. We always knew he was sort of like... everyone looks at Jimmy Page as the talent of Led Zeppelin, but actually, John Paul Jones fills in all the gaps.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a Cliff Burton thing, really. That kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Bungle, the first album.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. I mean, really, really sort of blew me away, that did. Who were the Italian ones? PFM? Was that PFM?
First PFM album, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome again. Awesome. Disappointments.
Yes, stuff you thought would be good. Didn't you have a very different expectation of ELO, and that put you off initially, that it wasn't quite what you thought it was?
Possibly. ELO, I mean, I always thought we were a bit pop rock, if you know what I mean.
Oh, they are.
So maybe I was just proved right on that. How do you go forward on a phone, Kev? I've completely screwed it now.
New interfaces. We need a keyboard, just a keyboard and a black screen. Command line. I know the commands, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that did surprise me is when we did the Camel run, there was people going, "Oh my God, you're reviewing Camel. No one ever reviews Camel."
Yeah, that was quite early on. It seemed really obvious.
Yeah.
Camel. Of course we're doing Camel. Why would you not do Camel? They're brilliant.
Yeah.
We did 6 albums. I think I didn't. There was albums there I didn't know. Had I known all the albums, we would have done 4, and we would have started with Mirage and finished with Rain Dances. We wouldn't have done the first one and the last one. Breathless was
It was a slog, wasn't it, at the end?
Yeah.
Sort of really hard work. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't do more. Well, I did hardly any. King Crimson and Frank Zappa with you.
Yes, we didn't. We should have planned that better. I mean, we should have done Lumpy Gravy.
Yeah.
We did bloody 200 Motels, which is like 4 hours long or something. We should. Lumpy Gravy is perfect because it's so proper Zappa, but it's like 32 minutes or something. It's really, really short.
Yeah. Thing is, I haven't got. I'm pretty cynical, yeah. I haven't got great expectations of music in general. Maybe Mahavishnu Orchestra, I thought I might like that a little bit more because it was at a time when I'd started to listen to a bit of Frank Zappa. I'm not a big Frank Zappa head or anything like that, but I was starting to. It was starting to work for me, if you know what I mean. I thought, well, maybe Mahavishnu Orchestra, who I assume were a big, not so much influence, but maybe more, set the bar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
For Zappa, I kind of thought, well, maybe I'd really get into that. And it didn't really, I don't think it really stuck out for me like some of the other bands. It wasn't a sort of, whoa, moment of clarity sort of thing. So maybe that a little bit, which is a bit strange, I suppose.
Well, actually, the third album was a revelation for me. I didn't know I didn't have it. It was really weird. And I bought it. It was like, oh, holy crap, this is brilliant. Much more structured, obviously. So that was the thing with Vishnu. It's all about playing, isn't it? And they've got like a couple of themes and they just go crazy. To have something more structured with the orchestra and stuff and like that was very cool. And some different players.
There's a few bands we've done, which when I think back, I can't really remember the music reviews. Like Can.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. Yeah.
There's that sort of. These are like big bands which you expect to sort of make a bit of an impact.
Well, Tangerine Dream, we didn't really when we sat down to analyse it. It was all a bit.
The Mars Volta.
Yeah. People really write them.
You're right, Heap even.
Yeah, I mean you're right, Heap on. It's a bit of a shame with Right Heap. They've always been that. Yeah, they're like kind of a second tier band, aren't they? They're sort of not quite as good as the other bands. They're all right though.
Yeah. Universe Zero.
Fucking amazing.
First album we did.
Yeah.
That was something quite special.
And the second one.
I can't remember the second one.
Second one is Heresy. It's
Oh
with
no,
the
Heresy is the one
20
I'm thinking
minute
of. Yeah.
monster noise. Evil shone on you, crazy diamond.
Yeah, that was cool. Didn't we do that? Was that for the episode 100 we did that?
No.
Oh.
No, episode 100 was just clips and
Oh.
messing around. And us playing music.
Yeah.
Sort of, and going... We're not going to sing the intro to that. Well, it's thick as a brick. It's quite a challenging album to review because it's so deliberately obtuse and convoluted. Huge jump in complexity, a leap from Aqualung. It was, it wasn't a gradual shift in complexity so much as a burr, deliberately, because it's a satire. It has comedy value. The whole point of it, people were saying Aqualung, it's another great concept album. It isn't at all. So obviously the response is in early 70s Pythonian land is to make the most ridiculous, over the top concept album, definitely concept album, as much as possible. And it's almost for that reason that makes it one of the most definitive prog moments. It's as important as the Lamb for me. It's that good. So in many ways it's a definitive moment. It's interesting how it hasn't gone down in Tull history as like the album everyone knows. The album everyone knows is Aqualung.
So that's my incredibly dry rundown answer to that question.
Okay, right. For me, it's kind of obvious, but one of my favourite things. I won't mention King Crimson because I've done that. If you can watch the last episode of the playlist, you'll, it's the same with Zappa really as well. There's no point in mentioning that either. But presence rather than physical graffiti for me, and that is controversial. I mean, actually, you were completely sold on it at the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, this isn't as good. It's interesting because that's the consensus is that Page was off his head and it was all crap. But the playing on there is fantastic. It's back to playing. Stop being diverse and trying everything. Just the playing, and it is just amazing. Kiddies are stunned. I mean, come on. So there's that. There's the Lamb. It's the Lamb. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I was thinking about this in the week actually, because as you remember, when we did the Lamb, I didn't get into it the first time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of,
well,
it's understandable,
It's for everyone. Yeah.
I got into it a lot quicker than I ever got into the Wall. It took me ages to get into the Wall. It just clicked one day. I don't know what it was.
Well, the Wall is
that's
just a load
what
of,
it is.
It's just a load of shouting, isn't it?
Yeah.
With some the Wall is actually quite middle of the road music with someone shouting over it. That's what it is.
But no, I definitely get it. But I fell for a Sell in England in a big way. The first week it was sort of like, wow, this is it, man. This is something quite intriguing and special. Yeah. And I was thinking in the week, well, do I swap that round now? I'm not sure. I think the Lamb is just too long. I think there's too much stuff on there, which is not also ran, but it's not top drawer, if you know what I mean. And if it was a little bit shorter, I think it would be. I think Genesis would have been something else. It would have took them on to,
They certainly think that, I think. And Selling England, they're not completely 100% on either, most of them. But obviously the Lamb was very difficult to make, and they had to get the album out kind of thing, and the lyrics weren't finished, so they had to finish the lyrics off for him. But I think that created something that was quite different to normal Genesis music, actually. And I wouldn't remove anything. I would have the whole thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I'd change the production because it's shit. Bloody Headley Grange. Bloody Aqualung. And Led Zeppelin 4 sounds amazing. It sounds perfect. Kind of too perfect. Presence, the Lamb. What else is there? I think that second Universe Zero album has to be put in there. Relayer.
There's no yes from me.
Octopus.
Oh yeah, Gentle Giant. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Black Sabbath and Deep Purple are from my youth, so it's very much a different thing. I would certainly. I mean, for us, that first album is so special, but I think it is a flawed album. Really, it's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Particularly people who they like the proggy stuff, 70s, but they wouldn't touch Sabbath. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Have a listen to that album. It's free now. It's on Spotify, you know. So just pop it on. That album. The whole album, not just the song. And you will like it. Thick as a Brick or Heavy Horses. Yeah, that first PFM album is fantastic. So I agree with that. And that's it.
Yeah.
And we make fun of the Black Album as well.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. There's this spark of genius on these albums. Why aren't you doing anything? Why are you just doing other people's stuff?
Because I would imagine that 90% of music is just bollocks. And what he likes doing is writing cool music. Which might explain why he went on that label.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, theoretically, it's all about good music and basically.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Obviously, the big thing about DJing was you own your music.
Yeah.
You're also responsible, etc., etc. Which is good.
So, you know, Stephen Wilson has become very good at promoting his own music on, you know, next to nothing really. Whereas John Paul Jones, most of his career, he hasn't had to do that, really.
Yeah. That's our opinion. What
Yeah.
about your opinion? Results of the poll. Actually, somebody did vote on... One person voted on the first video. Only one person. Yeah, and it was The Lamb. Oh yeah, it says here, make Sam review some Wakeman solo albums. In the court of the Wenton torture.
We'll charge for those videos.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to do a tally, do we? Lark Songs in Aspic.
Well, that's what a poll is, Kev.
Yeah, but not really. We're going to pretend we've done it on the video, but we're not really going to do it. Oh, I left that in the video. Oh no! Listen to this, Eddie. Cool. Red. That's the thing with King Crimson. You'll never get not even Lark Songs. You'll never get one. So it won't win things like this. Someone saying which reviews he enjoyed the most. Thanks for that. And some people requesting bands as well. Thanks for that. Thanks very much. Led Zeppelin 3
Required?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's the end of that conversation. Good. Right, now moving on. God Bluff by Van de Graaf. Foxtrot. Lark Songs has got 2. Close to the Edge. Farewell to Kings. The Lamb. Lamb has got 2. That's interesting. So now it's only Genesis that's getting two marks for 2 of its albums. Favourite album of the Thunder Thieves, John Paul Jones. Relay. Okay, yes, it's got a couple of reviews. Star Wars and Bob Black. There you go. We've had a vote for one of each of the Wenton albums. Foxtrot has got 3.
Oh.
In rock, Station to Station. Tego Mego. Studio 10. Or the Jester Race.
Oh, I'm glad Station to Station's not got more votes.
Station to Station.
That was probably my most depressing run.
You just didn't
Trying to
like
make David Bowie.
You really tried.
I really did.
Okay, so yeah, the winner is Foxtrot.
Foxtrot is the best album we've reviewed.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's got to be because of Supper's Ready,
Yeah.
not because of the whole album. As great as the other stuff is, obviously, but that's an interesting thing, isn't it? About what makes a good album if it's got something that good on the one side. That's you know.
And why didn't Telegraph Road get any votes then, Kev? Curious thing happened this week. Watched Princess Bride.
Mhm.
Because Sarah had never seen it. And it said at the end, music by Mark Knopfler.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it just a score? Is it orchestral?
Yeah, I think so, isn't it? I know there's some singing in the end credits.
Right.
But also, something else cropped up on the news. It was about how Mark Knopfler wrote Money for Nothing. And it is literally an overheard conversation
Yeah.
that he heard in the... I thought that's curious that that's popped up at this time.
shift these microwave ovens. That ain't working. It's probably in America, actually.
Yeah, it was America.
So he was talking like this. I don't know where this comes from. Yeah, we've got nothing to do now. We've.
Well, let's
Sorry.
let's chat it out.
Okay.
Let's talk about David Bowie because we haven't reviewed Black Star, and you said we're going to do it. What are your thoughts on that now?
I don't know. I put it on once. Very weird. It's all very weird. someone at work passed away, actually, and my last conversation with this guy was about David Bowie's album and the fact that David Bowie just died and people didn't know he died, and it was about death. And then this guy died. So it was all a bit weird.
That's spooky.
So that's why it hasn't had a lot of plays, and it needs a lot of plays to review properly. So one day, we'll probably do it, you know. I mean, should we keep reviewing David Bowie if you don't like it?
No.
No, we shouldn't.
I think question that the sort of it needs a lot of plays to get. I mean, that sounds a bit like the Bible to me. Well, if you keep reading it, one day it will make sense, eventually. Sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a question there, isn't there? I mean, The Wall is amazing. There is no doubt The Wall is, you know, an absolute masterpiece. I don't know anyone who liked it first time. You'd have to be a lunatic to like that first time.
Yeah.
Things that are unexpected, things that are unique, you're not going to pick it up straight away necessarily. You know.
Yeah, but what The Walls takes time because there is something there below the actual notes. You know, it's not just there to play a set of notes that sound pleasing to the ear.
Yeah.
With a catchy beat sort of thing
That's
that gets your foot tapping.
The music's so middle of the road.
The Walls like that because there is more to it. Is there any more to David Bowie's music?
I don't know. Well, it's like we said, we don't actually know what. I think it's good, but what is it? I don't know. Thing. It's a thing, and it's not like other stuff we review.
No, definitely not.
It is kind of weird that we did David Bowie so early on, and that I own most of his albums. Really, it isn't something you look at the other stuff I like. You wouldn't automatically think I would have David Bowie albums in there. It's got, well, I don't know, pop or something in there. I don't know, different. It's not about the notes and the performance of the notes.
And it's not about the singing.
David Bowie. But I love some Bowie.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't. Yeah. No, I was still. I mean, there are sort of musical, like Yes was one of them. I thought, how come so many people like this? Is it me? Am I not listening to this
High
right?
vibration, go on.
And then David Bowie is another one of those. He's just so universally loved. I mean, it was a national day of mourning when he passed away.
Yeah.
Especially on the BBC. I mean, the BBC just went into over. It may as well have been the Queen that died. You know, the Today programme, they were all sort of. It was so morbid. And I'm sitting there thinking, what?
He wrote some songs.
He wrote some songs, and most of them sounded quite.
Hello, David Bowie.
Quite crap, actually. He wrote some excellent pop tunes, pop chart tunes, sort of thing.
Yeah,
which
Life
really
on Mars and all that stuff.
But that's the thing to me with him. It's sort of like you have these high expectations because
Ziggy
of those songs, and then you go and listen to the album and you think, what the hell is this?
There's nothing there. Nothing. There's a nothingness to it. Nothing.
So yeah.
But yeah, Yes is another interesting one, really. And it is interesting that my love of Yes has definitely waned. It is on the back burner. It didn't come back from a long time ago. When the remasters came out with the bonus tracks, the 2003 ones, and I bought all the albums again and got rid of the old ones, which was stupid. I don't know why I stopped doing that, but that was, at that point I was a bit bored with it, and it never really came back. It came back a bit when we had to review it, which was, I don't know, 2013 or 14 or whatever it was. Must be, is it that long ago?
It was a quite long time. It was the second band, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been doing this now.
Yeah.
4 years, 3 years, something.
So, whereas Genesis never wanes. Never. I can put any of their albums on. I mean that. Any of their albums, I can put any of their albums on. Any of Genesis' albums, any of the albums that say Genesis on them, any.
Even the first one?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Just some songs.
Yeah.
You know, etc.
Yeah. Now, there is a elephant in the room. and I don't know whether to broach this subject. What do you think, Kev?
I don't know what the elephant is. So.
One of our comment spies gave us a heads up that someone was talking about us.
Oh my god! I didn't know if we were going to bother with this.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's sort of like how to play it. I mean, it was very polite and all that, and we got some valuable feedback.
He said we were boring. We should reveal.
We think we're quite boring.
Yeah. And I think the answer is actually, because what was it you said when you watched one of his videos first? And what was the very first thing you said?
So boring.
We're both boring. That's what it is. We're both very boring. It's incredibly nerdy. And to us, Darren Locke seems really relaxed about it and doesn't do the nitty-gritty details. It is interesting. He's more about the things. So here's the box, and this is what the vinyl sounds like, and it's got a different sound to that kind of stuff. Whereas we talk about this is in B flat, and I liked it more when it was in A.
He can. I mean, we've talked about him a lot recently.
We don't know why. There isn't a reason.
No, there is no reason. We're not sort of. He suggested we want to get a threesome going or something like that. I'm never opposed to that sort of thing, but I don't know. It was just interesting, wasn't it? And it gets good response in the comments.
It does.
It's
just completely meaningless.
We've got nothing to talk about. Let's talk about Darren Locke. That always seems to get a few comments like. And I think we need to make our intentions for the channel quite clear. In the sense that
what are our intentions for
exactly? We haven't got any intentions for the channel.
Yeah.
This is literally a hobby, isn't it?
Yeah, this is literally.
It's an excuse to get together and
it's Saturday
do something.
afternoons. Yeah, and it's Saturday afternoons only.
Yeah.
No. Just Saturday afternoons. No effort.
Yeah, it's sort of minimum effort. So I don't think we're going to see massive growth in the channel anytime soon.
Well, everyone's unsubscribed, isn't it? And no one watches any of our videos now because we charge for Pink Floyd. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and now we're just talking to ourselves because nobody listens.
What a mistake of a maker.
Yeah, we've only increased by 500 viewers.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite a small channel. I mean, 1,500 subs is
nothing. It's
in
literally nothing. Yeah,
scheme of things.
The plan for 6 months. Is it 6 months? No, it's longer than that because it was originally meant for the 1,000 subscribers celebrations. We were going to record our own version of Funky Moped by Jasper Carrot. That was the plan, and I did some backing tracks for a demo, just for a demo version, and we were going to send it to our drummer friend who can do a bit of production, so he could. And then we put more tracks on it, all that stuff. So I did a guide vocal, and then we never mentioned it again. It stopped there. That was the end of that.
Well, I can't do the piano bit to it, Kev.
We even got to do that. Didn't you? Or, I don't know. How does it go? I can't remember. Doesn't matter, does it?
The lights are groovy colours.
I even bought a pop
was playing slow.
I've got a pop shield on my microphone just for recording that, and I did it once and never again. It's a shame. I think we should have that. Yeah. We should do something, but we've said that.
I was thinking yesterday we should also restart our other project that we were talking about. I don't know.
Which one? The book. Yes. Yeah. We've hinted at something else is coming. Was actually the plan is a book. That's the plan. We don't even know what's quite going to be in it. It's going to be a book about prog. Yeah. And I actually suggested we do some speech to text software. Bit of editing. It's a book done.
I don't
1,500 pages.
I don't agree with that. Oh yeah, there was my jazz thing.
Oh, Sam's Jazz Odyssey. That was what Wenton chat was supposed to be like just a couple of weeks. Well, Sam got his Sam's Jazz Odyssey ready, which would have been awesome. And you were starting from the beginning. He wasn't just doing the obvious Wenton, Miles Davis-y bebop stuff and all that. You were going back and you were doing stuff, and it was going to be great. You got to do it. Got to finish it. You even did some test footage, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah. I need to get that back on track. It's time though, Kev.
Yeah.
I don't know where people get time from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thinking back to the King Crimson and Zappa reviews, even now I think how did I get the time to do that? And the answer is actually to do loads of them all at once. As I'm sure you can tell in the videos, I'm wearing the same clothes for like 10 episodes because I do like 10 in one go. The best bit about doing those reviews, very different to doing this, doing it on your own, and this is why actually, a lot of respect for Darren Locke actually doing it on his own.
Yeah.
It's so difficult on your own. There's these long pauses of nothing, and I really enjoyed just sitting in a cafe and making notes and listening to the music. That's what I enjoyed, because I got to listen to all that King Crimson and all that Zappa. The actual recording of it was just reading out the notes. It's completely worthless. But if people liked it,
Yeah. 1 minute, Kev.
We got 1 minute. Okay. Back in the 1970s, things were so uncomplicated. I wish I could go back there again, and everything would be the same. Yeah, the other thing is, we've talked in the chat about doing different types of video. Someone suggested doing Matthew Smith, who's this computer games Sid Barrett character. Oh, we'd be great to talk about him, but it's a different subject, isn't it? And should it really be on this channel if people are subscribed?
Yeah.
People are subscribed to listen to music reviews, so that should be on another channel, shouldn't it? Let us know.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. It's finished. I know. So, see you next week for 201, which is the shit albums. We've already decided, so don't suggest any more. Don't request bands. Stop requesting bands. The more I say it, the more people do it.
0 minutes.